The twin suns of Kethara Prime dipped toward the horizon, spilling molten gold across the jagged cliffs that bordered the human outpost. Commander Jace Ryland adjusted the straps of his armored suit and scanned the alien settlement from the ridge. He had come to this forsaken planet on a mission of exploration and diplomacy, but he never expected to find her, Elyra, the warrior of the Xylenar, a race known for their fierce pride and unbreakable codes. He had first encountered her in the canyon battle weeks ago, where human forces clashed with the Xylenar in a skirmish neither side wanted. Elyra had been a blur of motion, her crystalline blade cutting through the air, her sapphire eyes gleaming with an almost supernatural intensity. Yet when Jace disarmed her and held her at gunpoint, the moment froze. The Xylenar warrior lowered her weapon, unresisting, and spoke her oath aloud, in a language heavy with solemnity. "I obey only my Conqueror. To none else will my loyalty bend." Jace had hesitated, unsure whether she was bluffing, but something in the set of her jaw, the unwavering fire in her eyes, made him lower his weapon. It was a gesture that would change both their fates forever. Since that day, Elyra had followed him everywhere. She did not speak unless spoken to, but her presence was constant, a sentinel who could anticipate danger before it arrived. The human outpost whispered rumors, calling her the Sapphire Shadow or the Oath-bound warrior, marveling at how she defied every law of her people just to stay near one human. The morning air was thick with tension. A routine supply run to the nearby mining colony had turned into a gauntlet, with rogue Xylenar factions intent on reclaiming their warrior. Jace moved cautiously through the narrow canyon pathways, Elyra gliding behind him with uncanny silence. "Do you think they'll attack?" Jace asked, his voice low, almost a whisper. Elyra tilted her head slightly, her eyes scanning the cliffs with the precision of a predator. Without a word, she raised her hand and pointed toward the shadowed recesses above. Jace looked up and caught movement, a pair of figures descending with lethal intent. Elyra sprang forward, her crystalline blade catching the sunlight, fracturing it into a dazzling array of sparks. She moved with a fluidity that left Jace breathless, blocking strikes, countering with precision, and striking with decisive force. Within moments, the attackers lay incapacitated, and Elyra turned to him, expression unreadable, as if the battle had been nothing more than a test. "You're incredible," Jace said, awe lacing his words. "I don't know what I'd do without you." Her lips parted, a soundless exhale that felt like the faintest acknowledgement. She did not smile, nor did she need to. Her oath spoke louder than words ever could. By evening they arrived at the mining colony. Children peered from behind metal crates, wide-eyed at the presence of the Xylenar warrior. Workers paused in their labor, unsure whether to fear or revere her. Jace led Elyra to the command center, where he received updates and strategic reports. All the while she stood near the door, unwavering, her sapphire gaze following his every move. Night fell, draping the colony in shadows. Jace found a quiet moment on the balcony, staring at the twin moons rising in the sky. Elyra approached silently, her presence behind him a comforting shadow. "You don't speak much," he said softly. "Do you ever want to?" She looked up at him, her eyes reflecting the twin moons, and then finally a single word. "Only." Jace turned to her, curiosity piqued. "Only my Conqueror," she finished, her voice firm yet gentle, echoing the solemn oath she had sworn long ago. He felt a shiver run down his spine. It wasn't fear. It was the weight of responsibility, the realization that this warrior, bound by honor and oath, had chosen him above all others. It was a bond that transcended species, law, and loyalty. It was a choice rooted in respect, trust, and an unspoken understanding. Days turned into weeks. Elyra remained by his side through diplomacy, negotiations, and skirmishes. Together they navigated treacherous politics, hostile terrain, and rogue factions. Her presence was both shield and sword, a living testament to the power of an unbroken oath. One evening, while traveling back to the outpost, Jace noticed her pause near a cliff edge, watching the horizon. "What is it?" he asked. She turned, her sapphire eyes reflecting gratitude he could barely comprehend. "I watch, protect. Wherever you go, I follow. This is my choice, my honor." Jace swallowed, realizing that her loyalty was not forced, nor bought nor coerced. It was freely given, bound by oath and heart alike. He stepped closer, placing a hand gently on her armored shoulder. "And I trust you," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "I'll never forget that, Elyra." She inclined her head slightly, a gesture that to anyone else would seem small, but to Jace it was profound. Her oath was not mere words. It was a living promise, one that would endure across planets, battles, and years. As the twin suns set beyond the cliffs, casting long shadows across the land, Jace and Elyra stood side by side. One was human, the other alien, yet bound together by an unbreakable vow. And in that quiet moment the universe seemed vast, dangerous, and beautiful, all at once. Wherever he went she would follow. Her oath was clear. And in following him, she had found purpose, loyalty, and perhaps something even deeper than the promise she had sworn long ago. The twin suns dipped low, painting the horizon in molten gold. Jace Ryland stood on the cliff edge, the wind tugging at his coat as Elyra, the Xylenar warrior, glided silently to his side. Her sapphire eyes followed every movement, unwavering and vigilant, a living embodiment of the oath she had sworn. "You don't speak much," Jace said softly, breaking the quiet. "Do you ever wish to?" Her gaze met his, intense yet calm. "Only my conqueror," she replied, her voice steady, carrying the weight of honor and choice. A silence followed, but it was not empty. It was filled with understanding, trust, and a bond that transcended worlds. Jace felt it deep in his chest, the realization that this warrior, bound by her own unbreakable code, had chosen to walk beside him willingly. She was not a protector out of fear or duty. She was a companion, an ally, and something more subtle, yet profound. The days that followed were a testament to that bond. Through hostile terrain, skirmishes, and political intrigue, Elyra never wavered. She moved with precision, striking at danger before it could touch him, yet always returning to his side, silent but present. One evening, as they watched the twin moons rise above the jagged cliffs, Jace placed a hand on her armored shoulder. "And I trust you," he said, the words heavier than any battle cry. Her head inclined slightly, the smallest of gestures that carried worlds of meaning. She would follow him wherever he went, not because she had to, but because she chose to. Her oath was clear, her loyalty absolute. And in that quiet moment beneath alien skies, the human and the Xylenar stood together, bound by trust, honor, and an unspoken promise, a vow that would endure across planets, battles, and time itself. Her oath was clear, and now she would follow him everywhere.